Because I've got a cheat sheet, I happen to know that this is Anemone's birthday. You approach Nem just as she's about to bite into a sandwich the size of her head. Mom says I'm about to hit my growth spurt, she says, chewing with her mouth open. She says I've got a hollow log. Well, I know you like eggs. Cool, thanks, Nem says, taking the egg. I guess it is my birthday this week. I kind of forgot. Alright, anyone else just wants to talk? We'll talk to our mom first. Your mom's taking a break at her makeshift desk inside the domes. What's up, Selene, she asks. Need me for something? Your dad's up to his elbows in rich brown dirt. You've rarely seen him happier. Hey, Gooseberry, he says, scrunching his nose at you instead of waving. Here to give your old man a hand? I could use one. You slip through the colony gates, feeling the breeze from the mush tree forest ruffle your hair. You look around for Dis, but he's nowhere to be seen. Maybe you went to class today? Probably not. As you're about to return to the colony, you hear what sounds like crying coming from one of the expedition vehicles. You pull back the tarp and keep it from being blanketed with fungal spores, and find Dis curled up in the cabin. He wipes his eyes and turns away. Go away, he mutters. Are you okay? I'm fine, Dis sniffles. Just leave me alone. If my persuasion was 10 or greater, I could say, this is a great hiding place, coming in. Instead, do you want to talk about it? Why don't you go ask my sister, he mumbles. Tang is so mature, she knows everything. I'm just a sensitive little crybaby who doesn't know anything. Dis wraps his arms around his legs and hides his face in his knees. I hate her, he mumbles. Everyone thinks she's so smart, but she's just a big meanie. I hate everyone here. I hate being here. I just want to be left alone. Alright, Cal needs to learn more about crop rotation. Ooh, we found a new flower on the ground. That's cool. Looks like Mars and Tang like those. Mars is pripping at a holoscreen as she sat up to act as a mirror. You never know when someone important is going to talk to you, she says, twisting and retwisting her hair around her finger. And no, I don't mean important like the council. Yuck. She smiles primly at you. I mean, whoever is going to end up being my first kiss. I don't even want them to remember that time they saw me when we were kids and I was absolutely at my best. Alright. We still have a bit more till we're stressed out. Organizing is still something that'd be good to do. So I'm thinking we will do Xenobotany research. Yeah. And that gives us kudos because it's doing work rather than schooling. Your dad introduces you to the little lab they have set up in one of the greenhouses. It's incredible, he says, gesturing all around him. We're surrounded by alien flora and we know practically nothing about it. What's edible? What's medicine? What can we make fibers with or build with or use in ways we haven't thought of yet? He beams at you. You and me, we're going to find out, my little potato. Your dad directs you to the research bench, and here's where you'll be working. The bench is buried under samples and beakers and weird-looking alien sprouts. More than just a sample table, the analysis bench is covered with buttons and little holes that you could put things into. Don't touch anything, carefully find the on switch, stick something in a hole, or press buttons at random. I'm gonna go with the more cautious approach of don't touch anything. Go ahead and mess around, your dad encourages you. You won't break anything. Carefully find the on switch. There is no on switch. Yep, you looked everywhere. Stick something in a hole. You put one of the seedlings into a small slot in the table. A little door slides shut and then reopens. A loud brrr noise startles you. Oh no, you broke it! Your dad laughs. Nah, just kidding, you're fine. Good instincts, kiddo. Press buttons at random. You mash all the table buttons until yo yo yo, kiddo. It's congruence. The friendly ship's computer beams at you from her own holoscreen set in the bench. Of course she's here. She's the guardian of all knowledge in the colony, after all. You wonder who she got the yo 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 from. Your dad laughs. Don't tell anyone, but congruence is the real brains of the operation, he confesses, though it's not like it's a secret. She'll make sure you don't do anything super dangerous, which means you and I get to focus on experimentation. If you follow the rules and stick to what you already know, you won't learn anything new, so don't be afraid to try stuff. Alright, let's get to work. You bring your mushwood samples into the lab. You're going to study these and revolutionize the use of mushwood lumber. Maybe. Alright, let's study this mushwood. Looks like we lost our mushwood log collectible. You examine the mushwood under a microscope and take notes on its cellular structure. Part of the reason it needs to be harvested in wet is because the cells get so saturated that they lose structural integrity and turn to, well, mush during glow. Studying the exact process by which the cells take in water leads to a breakthrough. It might be possible to hack the process and stop the mushwood trees from taking on too much water during wet. If they don't take on as much water, they won't take as long to dry. Gain +2 biology. You should be able to develop a spray that the loggers can apply to the fruiting body of the mushwood, the part that sticks out of the ground, to close its pores. Reducing negative pressure in the body should stop it from pulling so much water from the mycelial network underground. This is great. Logging will be much more efficient now. Gain 5 kudos and more colony defense. Alright, well, let's get to work. We've locked in this card, which gives us +1 for every unplayed card. So it's going to drop down to probably 0. Oh, to 1. Okay. We can't move it around, unfortunately. So, sure. That seems fine. Max score? So 16 kudos, some biology, and some organizing. It's time for the 3rd annual Vertinalia Festival. You gather with your family in the Colony Square. Everyone takes a seat as Governor Utica approaches the stage. She folds her hands and serenely addresses the crowd. "What a pleasure to address you all today as your governor," she says, looking as pleased as she ever does. "In under 3 years, we've built a colony of which we can be truly proud. While we've suffered hardships and losses, we remain standing, as always, looking toward the future. We are building together. Let us use this midsummer festival as a time to reflect on our many blessings," Utica continues. "Fresh water, good food, healthy children, and a strong community." Utica bows her head. "But first, let us remember Professor Halitosis, who guided our children and kept our engines running for so many years. Chief Engineer Instance will be filling in with help from our ship's AI congruence until someone can take up the mantle that rested so easily on Hal's broad shoulders." Professor Halitosis. So I've noticed a lot of people have names that are actually words, which isn't something that's common, at least in America. But it's a cool idea. But halitosis, having that as your name you were given at birth? Wow. I would like to formally recognize our youngest council member ever, Utopia, representing Expeditions. Utica gestures for Utopia and Uncle Tonin to join her on stage. "Thank you, Melatonin, for your years of service as head of Expeditions." Tonin gives Utopia's shoulder a squeeze. "Utopia's been ready for this since we landed. I'll be staying back to work the comms from here, so I'm always a call away if you need me." Utica invites the rest of the council to stand and be recognized among the crowd, including her mom, who huffs in annoyance. When the applause dies down and the council sits, Utopia remains standing. "Actually, Auntie Unicott, y'all mind if I just make a quick announcement?" Unicott nods and Utopia clears her throat. "I just wanted to say thanks to y'all who are trusting me with this job," she says, her voice ringing out of the cloud. A cheer rises from Expeditions, and she motions for them to quiet down. "Uncle Tonin's left some big shoes to fill, and, well, I'm going to give it my best. We're fixing to get to the bottom of what we're calling the shimmer, the sniffles folks been getting during pollen," Utopia continues. "Until we do, please keep on wearing your masks when the pollen is thick, and let the doc know if you're under the weather." She bends down to hug the governor as she leaves the stage. "Thank you, Utopia," Utica says warmly, "and thank you to the rest of the council for their service." Live music starts playing and Utica smiles. "And now it's time for games and feasting." The crowd disperses towards the feasting table, clearing the area of chairs so the children's competition can be held. Which will you do this year? So as usual, we have the bot triathlon requiring 15 toughness and the science fair requiring 15 reasoning, and we still can't do the talent show because we still haven't worked on creativity. Our reasoning versus our toughness are roughly equal. 24 versus 22. We'll go with the science fair. More friendship with Tangent. Tangent's project involves how the surveyor's gliders work. Something to do with the materials they're made from, reacting with the magnetic field of the planet combined with the solar energy collected from the wings. You tune her out, only zoning back when Tang stumbles through one of the judge's technical questions. She can't help look. You catch her look of pain and frustration as she realizes she doesn't know the answer. The judges turn to you next. Let's present our project. Alright. Something will get +1 here. So we'll go that route. So this is gonna be a 1 at the end of it. This +1 is getting in the way. And I don't know. We'll use this one because currently we don't have any yellow cards and that could bite us next round. I don't know. Sure. Nah, we could have gotten up to 23. Oh well. You do an egg drop experiment taking fragile crystalline glass fruit and designing 4 different ways to protect them from breaking after a long fall. 2 break, but 2 succeed. Your experiment is only a simple demonstration of physics, but the judges decide to award you for your choosing something within your capabilities and doing it well. Tang is frustrated, but more at herself than you. She's not used to failure. Oh, and that did help our stress, which was getting pretty far down there. After the festivities, you take time off for a much-needed, very relaxing break. Your dad sets up a slip and slide through the colony square, and everyone takes turns sliding on their stomachs and spraying water at each other. It's a lot of fun. You can feel your worries floating away in the hot dust suns. And we gained the popular. Mid-dust? We are now popular, which means we gain extra kudos for the next 3 months, so we should prioritize jobs that pay kudos. Not that kudos are super critical, but they are nice. Cal's lying in the scrub grass at the edge of the garden, staring up at the sky. He blinks at you as your shadow passes over him. Hey, Selene, he says, smiling around a stalk of grass between his teeth. You'll ever take the time to appreciate this place? We got sky, clouds, rain, and wind. After growing up on the strato, it all seems pretty magical. I think we have heard that before. Want to hear a nature fact, now that our biology is 40? You tell him about the time Tang brought a skunk bug for show and tell in biology, and it got scared and made the worst smelling, grossest stink you ever smelled, and everyone thought Tang had farted. Then Professor Hal had to clear out the whole room, and it took weeks to get the smell out of the beanbags, and it was so gross, but also kind of neat how such a tiny bug could make a whole room of kids run away. Cal laughs. I remember that, Selene, except the way I heard it, it wasn't Tang, it was you. Your dad's engrossed with his work, analyzing a robust flowering vine with clusters of faintly glowing beans. He hums and makes notes on his holopalm. Oh, look who's here, he says, realizing with a jolt that you're standing there. I found a really interesting plant. Your mom blinks as if she hadn't seen you in a while. Yeah, wow, you're getting big, she mutters, shaking her head in disbelief. Yep. He's still upset that he can't go out. A lot of these are repeats. Think she deserves her allowance? Tang wants to talk. Tangent is deep in conversation with one of the other scientists. He seems to be consoling her, though Tangent's face betrays no emotion as he claps her on the shoulder and reassures her that she's doing really well for someone so young, and that everyone compromised some of their samples when they were first learning. He leaves, and Tangent sighs as she goes to put her head in her hands, stopping short when she realizes she's still wearing gloves. She peels them off and digs her fingers into her eyes. Are you okay, Tangent? I'm fine, Tangent replies immediately. I compromised an experiment I was working on because the vent was still open when I was spraying the workstation down with sanitizer. She sniffs. It's so gross here, she says. I probably did that fungus a favor. Then takes a bottle of sanitizer from under her workbench and cleans while she speaks. There are pollen spores everywhere, she whines. And he comes over here and tells me, it'll be okay, Tang, like it's his job to console and patronize me. I hate being patronized too. What's wrong with him being nice? But it is okay to make mistakes. I hate being patronized too. You both sigh in unison. I hate being young, she says bitterly. Why don't they understand that we have higher expectations from ourselves than they do? I need to learn from my own failures. What I don't need, she continues icily, is someone to pat me on the head and tell me it's okay and the adults will make it all better. I messed up, she says. And just let me fix it. Don't make a big deal about it like I'm a child with a boo-boo. Yep, you're about to have your growth spurt. Okay, that's everyone's. We get bonuses with kudos. We should also think about skills we want to raise. Or we could go out exploring again because we've got a good amount of stress available. And as usual, I'm leaning that way because that could get tons of skills up, so the more we do it, the better. So yeah, I'm going to just sneak out again. Alright, everything we already explored is still explored. So we've already got all these locations covered. But there's still plenty of the map we haven't got to yet. So we'll move along. You stop for lunch, eating an earth treat grown from your own greenhouses. A watermelon. Nice and sweet, like a more solid potato pod. You munch away, spitting out the seeds. We're just gonna relax. That boosted our stress by 30 points. You sit back and enjoy your midday rest and the beautiful surroundings. Grab another mushwood log. A nearby pond is dammed up and washed out the path here. The path continues on the other side. Bravely jump over it. It's another easy bravery challenge. Hopefully we'll boost our bravery up even higher. 27 points over 3 rounds. 012. We'll use that 2 instead. We've got a bunch of 2s. We could just toss them all in. 2, 2, 2, 2. Alright. Let's see. We could go something like that. So we've got a couple of matching colors as well as matching numbers. Oh well. Could have gotten up to 30. But we gain +1 bravery. You bravely fall in and get wet. You flounder towards the other side, soaked but victorious. Ooh, I think this one is one that will reduce our stress. Be as quiet as possible. Oh, you walk in the clearing, we see the Unisaur. I think we've seen this one before. But I should have read it off. There we go. This one's nice to play in earlier rounds where you have extra cards kicking around. Yeah, something like that. There we go. Wild will make it so that they both benefit from that. Still not good enough. I don't know. +1 perception. As you settle down to watch it from behind a strand of musk trees, the Unisaur looks up towards you, startled by your movement. You try to hold perfectly still and quiet your breathing. After a tense moment, it goes back to its business. First, it sniffs out a good tree to rub its scent glands in its neck against thoroughly, then it pees it like a crystal waterfall on a rock. Everything it does seems magical. You quietly take a picture with your holopalm, but you know you can't share it or you get caught for sneaking out. Next, it sharpens its horn against a rock, which is scored with marks from having done this before. This must be its favorite sharpening rock. You notice the bulge in its stomach. It must have had a huge meal recently. Eventually, it curls up for a nap. You quietly sneak away. This is so wonderful. Vertumna is a magical place. Alright, we got another egg. Yep, we've gone through this one as well. The blob grass that we're trying to trudge a path through. Alright. Sure. We're not getting a straight bonus, so I probably should move the 5 next to the red. Oh, that bumped it up to a 5, which I wasn't planning on, because of the +1 card for other gems. Is that better? Yeah. How about you? Yeah. That's probably as good as I'm gonna get. Still not the max. Alright. Hopping from log to rock, whatever. We get through the blob grass. What's over here? The path here is engulfed by a dust tornado. It whirls and twirls, not showing any signs of moving away. Walk through the dust. This one doesn't sound familiar. 5, 4, 4. Sure. We'll just go all blues. Five, 4, 2. Or I don't really want to use the Mars Ambition. We've met our goal by far, and I'd rather not lose the Kudo that I likely won't gain back. So we'll just win. +1 perception, nice. You shut your eyes hard against the swirling dust and somehow manage to walk in a straight line through it. Once you pass through and turn around, the dust storm settles. You wonder if walking through it somehow caused it to die down. Yeah. What's over here? You're minding your own business when you stumble into... It's so hot, the 2 suns are beating down on you. The ground is cracked and parched, and so are you. Ahead is a long stretch with no trees, just the merciless heat of the suns scorching the ground. Look for a shady route through it. Goal of 27. Alright. I go there. It's slightly worse, but we keep better cards for later. 5, 4, 3, 2. Yeah. Oh well. You spend some time going the long way around, taking shelter under some mush trees. It's still sweltering in the shade, but not as bad. Anything over here? Xenobotany's engineers have set up a workstation here, using the roboplow to tear up the ground and prep it for farming. You don't want them to see you. They'll send you home for sure. Sneak past them, I guess. Oh, this one's getting a -2 because it can be a yellow. That is awful. Okay. Or 4, 3, 2. Now we're not really getting much of a straight going. If I put those together, is that better? I didn't actually keep track of what the score was. 18 versus 17. Alright. Hey, we got the max. That'll be an extra kudo. 2 kudos because of our popular. You skulk under the trees at the edge of their operation. The loud grinding of the robo-plow hides any noise you might have made. We got a new perk for perception. Highlight collectibles. All collectibles glow. Can't really see it because there's no collectibles around, but when we see one, you'll see it glows kind of like these do. You come across a cluster of mush trees. They're not fully grown yet, but they're still pretty big. It might be good to harvest them before they get all gross and mushy during the rainy season. If you were older, you could probably cut them down and get some kudos for them. Give them a friendly pat. You like the mush trees. You give one a pat and are surprised when it moves under your hand. It's not the mush tree though, but a camouflaged creature lying against the trunk. It's small and looks a little like an octopus or a starfish. Lots of long legs wrapped around the tree like it's giving it a hug. Alright. And we have to go home because we are now exhausted. Any extra bravery and perception. Alright, we're going to hang out again on the drain pipe to relax on the walls. Think of the places we have to relax, that's my favorite for now. Most of the time you're you're alone up here, except for the occasional passing guard, but sometimes you're joined by Dis. He barely looks up at you as you plop down and kick your feet over the railing and over the edge. He looks like he's doodling on his hollow pad. You see all sorts of plants, mushrooms, little creatures with too many eyes or too many legs. He has a section of plant samples at his side, like artist paintbrushes laid out on a towel. He must be quite the junior botanist. He's not drawing plants right now, though. He's actually drawing a person. Not anyone you recognize from the colony. They have long dark hair and a pointed face and are covered from neck to toe in floaty black robes. They look neat. You're wondering if they're Dis's original character or something, like his super cool goth self-insert. That looks nice. Is that supposed to be you but cooler, or ignore him? That looks nice. Dis smiles shyly but doesn't look away from his drawing. Thanks, he mumbles. I'm not very good at drawing him yet. Oh, these are actually pretty decent cards. So, I'd rather leave them. Unfortunately, we don't get to choose what we get rid of out of all the cards we have, like these 0s and 1s. But I'd rather keep the 3 and the 5.